On to Newcastle, who are now in pole position to secure a Champions League spot because the Premier League will get a guaranteed amount of 5 clubs in that Champions League competition next year. Do you think they'll get it done, and how much does that affect not only who they might be able to afford to bring in with their PSR issues, but keeping hold of the likes of Tonali now, who's linked with a move to Real Madrid potentially. Obviously, Bruno Guimaraes is linked with a move every summer, and Isak, who goes without saying. Which side of that, to you, is even more important, the Champions League in order to keep players or in order to bring new players in?
Yeah, I think it works twofold for Newcastle. Qualifying for the Champions League would just wrap up a brilliant season for Newcastle. They finally ended their long wait for a domestic trophy by winning the Carabao Cup, and there's a real feel-good factor around Newcastle now, and not surprisingly after that Wembley win against Liverpool. Look, the Champions League, it's well within their grasp right now. It's in their hands. They're level on points with Chelsea with 53 points, and they've got a game in hand, so if they can win that, they can go 3 points clear. It's got Manchester City a point further adrift on 52 as well. But look, I think if Newcastle do go on and qualify for the Champions League, it will go a long way to keep it hold of the likes of Alexander Isak, Bruno Guimaraes, Sandro Tonali. I think there's a real close bond there between that Newcastle squad. We saw that in the Carabao Cup final where they worked their socks off and really battled for that one, and the celebrations afterwards between the fans and the players was really nice to see. So yeah, getting Champions League football will keep hold of your best players, but it will also attract other players. It'll boost the finances. The money on offer in the Champions League is huge. So if Newcastle could do well in the Champions League in this league format, it will only increase the transfer kitty that Eddie Howe has got at hand to try and improve the squad. And as I said, all the top players now want to be playing in the Champions League, and if Newcastle can offer that to their potential transfer targets, you can only see Newcastle getting stronger and stronger.
And we continuously have been talking about new potential goalkeepers for Newcastle. They recently sent scouts to watch Yahia Fofana against PSG on the weekend. Is that the right kind of like talent and age profile to you? Someone who maybe could learn a little bit from Nick Pope, isn't going to have a whole bunch of responsibility immediately and be the future goalkeeper? Or you think they need to go for an Aaron Ramsdale or a Kelleher, someone who's ready to jump right in?
Yeah, I think they've got good options in goal right now. I think Nick Pope, when he is fit, he's one of the best goalkeepers in the Premier League. He's proven that at Newcastle, and Eddie Howe is a big admirer of him. Obviously, he's had a few injury problems of late, and that's why Dubravka played so many games earlier in the season, and he did quite well as well. Look, Fofana from Angers is a young goalkeeper, Ivory Coast international, only 24, so he's a goalkeeper with real potential. I think his record this year is outstanding. I think he's got the best PSG shot to save ratio in Europe's top 5 leagues. That's why probably when Newcastle are looking at him, that's why they've sent scouts to watch him. They won't be the only club probably keeping an eye on him. They were strongly linked with James Trafford from Burnley in the summer transfer window, but ended up they thought he might be too expensive, and obviously Trafford's went on to have a great season at Burnley with so many clean sheets for Burnley, and obviously in and around the England squad as well. He will be expensive again in the summer if Newcastle do revisit that situation, and it'll be very hard to get him out of Burnley if Burnley go on and win promotion as well. So maybe that's why they're looking at other goalkeeping targets, the likes of Fofana. As you said, I think a number of clubs will be looking at Aaron Ramsdale this summer. He has got that relegation release clause in his contract following Southampton's relegation from the Premier League. Eddie Howe knows all about Aaron Ramsdale, having worked with him at Bournemouth. I think he would be a great fit for Newcastle, and I think he'd be a good fit for a number of Premier League clubs, because you can't question the performances of Ramsdale for Southampton. He was overworked in that Southampton team, but yeah, he's still a top goalkeeper, and he's a goalkeeper with ambitions of becoming a regular in that England squad, so he'll be looking to definitely play in the Premier League next season as well. But look, for me, if Nick Pope's fit, if they can get somebody in who's younger to provide cover and competition, I think that's probably the way that Newcastle will look at it.